At 18, I stumbled upon Anna Miller and a scholarship kid locked in the gym storage room. Her cheeks were flushed, her hands fumbling as she helped him with his clothes. At 26, I married Anna as our families had always planned, but everyone in New York's elite knew a portrait of that same scholarship kid was locked away in her private study. 3 years into our marriage, I asked for a divorce. She was silent for a long time before signing the papers, telling me to let her know if I ever needed help. Later, I attended a gala with my law partner. An old friend nudged me, laughing. "Remember that moot court final? You two were at each other's throats. Who'd have thought you'd end up holding hands?" That night, Anna's name lit up my phone for the first time in months. "You insisted on that Hudson penthouse," she said, her voice thin. "It was so you could see your law firm, wasn't it?" Outside, the wind howled, but my apartment was warm. The woman on my couch was elegant and cool, her figure striking as ever. Her face was the same bright, captivating one I remembered from when we were 18, a mix of classic beauty and untamed spirit, marred only by a fresh cut on her forehead. An hour earlier, I got a call from the local precinct. Anna had been in a fight. When I arrived, a man was gently dabbing at her wound. I recognized him, Ethan Cole, a classmate from our prep school days. The moment she saw me, she flinched like a startled bird and pulled her hand away. Anna immediately stepped in front of him, her voice sharp with displeasure. "Asked him to be here, Noah. Don't take it out on him." I said nothing and went to handle the paperwork. By the time I returned, Ethan was gone. The entire ride home, Anna didn't say a word to me. She was on the phone, her voice a soft, soothing murmur as she calmed the man on the other end. I had never seen her like this. Her expression was tender, her focus absolute, all her patience reserved for Ethan. If Anna and I were the product of a lifelong arrangement, Ethan was the one that got away, her great unrequited love. That was the moment the idea of divorce truly took root. We all met in high school. Unlike our privileged backgrounds, Ethan was the scholarship student. He was handsome, brilliant, and had a relentless, optimistic drive that drew Anna's attention from the day he transferred into our class. I once thought her interest in him was just a fleeting phase. That was until the day Ethan was framed for stealing class funds. A few of the jocks dragged him into the gym storage room. By the time I got there, they were gone, leaving Ethan stripped of his clothes. I took off my blazer, about to go in, when Anna emerged from behind a stack of tumbling mats, holding Ethan's clothes. His back was to her, his voice tight and trembling. "You should go. If anyone sees you, you won't be able to explain this." Anna's face was set like stone. "Then I won't explain. Just put your clothes on." After a tense moment, Ethan relented. For some reason, he struggled with his belt. "I can't get this buckle to work." Without hesitating, Anna stepped forward. "Here, let me." Her movements were clumsy, uncertain. Her fingers brushed his skin, and she instinctively tried to pull back, but Ethan's hand gently steadied hers. When the belt was fastened, I could see the tips of her ears were crimson. She turned, and her eyes met mine. A flicker of panic crossed her face before she regained her composure and walked toward me. "You're just in time. Give him a hand." As we left the storage room, she added, "Please, keep this a secret." I promised I would. But that afternoon, a photo of Anna helping Ethan with his belt went viral on the school's gossip blog. She was convinced I had betrayed her. That day, for the first time ever, she unleashed her fury on me. "Noah Carter, don't think you can do whatever you want just because my parents adore you," she seethed. "You're the son-in-law they want, not the husband I want. No one decides who I marry." I clenched my jaw. Believe it or not, I had nothing to do with this. She laughed coldly. "You were the only other person there. Who else could it have been?" "I didn't do it," I insisted, my voice stubborn. "Besides, why would I spread a rumor like that about him?" "Because you're jealous that he and I are together." My mind went blank. "Hystère de here, incrédulous. Since when?" She looked at me, her eyes full of challenge. "After what happened. Isn't it obvious we're together now?" "But we—" She cut me off impatiently. "Noah, you didn't actually think all those years of us being seen together meant I liked you, did you?" I felt like I'd been plunged into ice water, completely frozen. That night, the Millers found out about Anna and Ethan. Her father dragged her to my family's home to apologize. Anna, defiant, spat out the most rebellious words imaginable. If you love Noah Carter so much, why don't you have another daughter to marry him off to? Her outburst earned her a harsh reprimand from both sets of parents. Back then, Anna hadn't grasped the reality of her situation. She didn't see that I'd been groomed since childhood to be the heir apparent to the Carter-Miller alliance. As the sole daughter of the Miller dynasty, she had no say in who she married. In the end, she married me. Shortly after the photo scandal, Ethan transferred schools. After graduation, Anna was sent to study abroad for 8 years. When she returned, she was transformed, her youthful edges sharpened into a formidable presence, ready to take over her family's company. She found me and proposed marriage. Since we're both still single, let's just do it. I only found out later that the first thing she did upon returning was look for Ethan. He, full of pride, had rejected her. Marrying me was just her way of spiting him. I have to go out. You can go to bed. Anna's voice pulled me from my thoughts. She stood up, her tone softening as she spoke into her phone while walking toward the door. I'm on my way now. They won't touch you. Lock the door. I'm bringing people. I stood up too. You're going out this late? She paused for a fraction of a second. Something came up. I'll be back very late. As she reached the door, I called her name again. A hint of impatience colored her face. What is it now? Anna, let's get a divorce. Rage flared in her eyes, but she controlled it. What are you trying to pull now? Ethan got fired today because of you, didn't he? He has no one here, so he has to rely on you. Esteva here steadily. Is helping him why you've been going to the club, where he works every day? The great Anna Miller, getting into a brawl at a police precinct over a waiter. Is that what you call helping? Her lips thinned into a cold line, her dark eyes filled with a dangerous warning. I will find out what happened tonight. She paused, then added, and it had better have nothing to do with you. It felt like a bucket of ice water had been dumped over my head, the blood freezing in my veins. In the 2 years we'd been married, Anna had never lost her temper with me. It had led me to believe she was over Ethan, that she was ready to build a life with me. Now I saw it was just wishful thinking. I suddenly remembered the portrait of Ethan that used to hang in her study. She had painted it herself and made no effort to hide it from anyone, including the Miller family. Her grandfather had thrown a fit, and the conflict only ended when a wedding portrait of Anna and me was hung in its place. The painting of Ethan was locked away in a cabinet. In that moment, I understood. She hadn't compromised. She was waging a silent war against her family in her own way. A fierce gust of wind blew through the open balcony door in the dining room, and I shivered. Just then, a heavy thud echoed from Anna's phone. The coldness in her eyes shattered instantly, replaced by sheer terror. She rushed for the door. Ethan? What was that? Just hold on. I'll be there in 10 minutes. She was out the door before she finished the sentence, the click of the lock sealing away all her warmth. Anna didn't come home that night. I sat on the sofa until dawn. As the sun rose, I received 2 messages. One was a photo of Anna and Ethan walking into a hotel. The other was a single sentence. Divorce her. Choose me, please. I scrolled up. There were 3 unread messages from the same number. Noah, I'm back. I'll always be here if you need me. You love her that much? Can't you just love me instead? I let out a long breath and quickly typed a reply. Okay. Anna came home the next afternoon. She wore a new dress from a brand she would normally never glance at. She was immaculate, with no trace of any dishevelment. If it weren't for the stark red mark on her neck, no one would have believed she'd spent the night and most of the day in a hotel with Ethan. She must have felt a pang of guilt because she had a gift for me. I am sorry. I was too harsh last night. I apologize. She placed the gift box in front of me. I pulled the divorce papers I'd already prepared from a drawer and slid them across the table. Take a look. If there are no issues, sign it. Anna's brow furrowed. I help an old classmate, and you're reacting like this? Noah, when did you become so petty? I ignored her. Our prenup keeps our assets separate. We'll split the liquid assets from during the marriage 50-50. For property, I just won the Hudson penthouse. Anna finally looked at me seriously, her eyes searching my face. After a moment, a cold smile touched her lips. Is this your new strategy? She didn't believe me. She thought it was another tactic to win her back. The Millers were a powerhouse in our circle. Countless families vied for an alliance with them. From her perspective, I had no reason to give up my position as the heir to our combined fortunes. But the thought of leaving had been with me for a long time. It happened on an ordinary day. Anna came home drunk from a business dinner, as she often did. When I moved to help her, she pointed a finger at me and slurred, "Noah, your love is disgusting." I froze, a bitter ache spreading through my chest. I could have sworn she used to love me too. We were freshmen in high school, in classrooms across the hall from each other. One day, a tremor from an earthquake upstate shook our building. Anna was the first one out of her classroom, sprinting into mine, grabbing my hand, and pulling me downstairs. The earthquake caused no damage, but I was left with a bruise on my wrist from her grip. Her friends teased her, saying I was her precious cargo, and that we should just get married on the spot. I thought Anna would get angry, but instead, she said, "We will get married." One of them joked, "Don't be so sure. You've got a few years until you're legal." But Anna was firm. "If I get married and it's not to him, none of you are invited." All her friends came to our wedding. But what good did it do? Anna was convinced I was using emotional blackmail to manipulate her. She sat across from me, her expression cold. Every time we fought, I was always the first to back down. She assumed this time would be no different. She didn't know I was dead set on leaving. I pulled the agreement back, picked up a pen, and under her icy gaze, I flipped to the last page and signed my name. I pushed the pen toward her. "If there are no issues, just sign." At that moment, Anna finally realized I wasn't joking. Her expression hardened, her voice turning impossibly cold. "Have you thought this through?" I glanced at my watch. "If we leave now, we can still make the last appointment at City Hall." She didn't speak, just stared at me, her dark eyes searching for a crack in my resolve. After what felt like an eternity, she lowered her gaze. "Fina, let's do it." She signed her name, then paused, pen hovering. "Grandfather's birthday is next month. I hope we can wait to tell the family until after the party." "I have no problem with that," I said, getting up to retrieve the suitcase I'd already packed. "Noah," her voice had lost some of its chill, "you can keep living here. There's no need. Since we're divorced, we shouldn't have any ties. If you need anything in the future, feel free to ask." I didn't linger. As I walked out, she hurried after me. "I'll drive you." "No need. Someone's coming to get me." Downstairs, a graceful figure stood under a streetlight. The moment she saw me, she broke into a smile and walked briskly to meet me. Once in the car, I looked at the radiant woman in the passenger seat. "Chloe, just give me 1 month." Chloe Vance laughed softly. "A month is nothing. I can wait." Chloe and I were classmates in law school, both at the top of our class. We were peers and rivals. We first truly met during a major moot court competition. The topic was, if you had a superpower that could make the person you love you back, would you use it? We were on opposing sides. The debate was fierce, and my team won. Afterward, she stopped me. If I had that power, I would use it without hesitation. I was young and arrogant then, and my words were sharp. "That just means you don't believe you're worthy of being loved on your own." Chloe looked at me intently. "I love him, but I also respect him. As long as I don't give up, he'll eventually see me." I smiled knowingly. "So, the goddess has someone she can't win over." She said nothing, just watched me in silence. Later, through student government, we started interacting more. Every encounter was a battle of wits. Over 4 years, we somehow became friends. On graduation day, Chloe asked me out for a drink. I went. She asked about my plans. I joked, what else? For people from families like ours, it's get married, have kids, and secure long-term partnerships for the family business. Chloe looked at me very seriously. "Could you wait for me then?" 5 years, max. "Just wait for me, okay?" The bar was too loud. I didn't really hear what she said. I downed my drink, and the moment I set the glass down, I kissed her. But in the end, I ran. I ran because I realized I was drawn to Chloe, and my birthright meant I had no choice in who I married. I turned off my phone, cutting off all contact. A week later, I learned from a classmate that Chloe had gone abroad for her master's. She was gone for 4 years. Now she was back, and I was a married man. I snapped back to the present, realizing the car had stopped in front of her building. When I got out, she got out too. We went up in the elevator to her apartment, but she didn't go inside. Noah, want to start a law firm with me? I was stunned. After getting married, I had left the legal world behind. I'd poured all my energy into the Miller and Carter family businesses, gradually forgetting I was once a law student. The moment Chloe mentioned it, I admit my heart leaped. But I quickly dismissed the idea. I'm out of practice. I'd only hold you back. Chloe had done incredibly well for herself. She was a rising star in the legal community. Old classmates spoke of her with envy. Chloe Vance is pulling in 7 figures, heading for 8. You guys who left the field should take a good look at yourselves. But Chloe didn't see it that way. You can do it, Noah. You always could. She brought up our time in school, the debates where I'd argued her into a corner. Noah, she said, since you're starting a new life, why not take one more step forward? She convinced me. On the cusp of my 30th birthday, I decided to finally fight back against the life that had been laid out for me. The following days were a blur. I was working from early morning to late at night. It was exhausting, but I felt a sense of fulfillment I hadn't known in years. It was a call from Grandfather Miller that made me realize a month had passed. Noah, what have you been so busy with? Why haven't you come to see your old grandpa? The Miller elders had always been good to me, especially your grandfather. With no male heirs in that generation, he treated me like his own, wanting to give me the best of everything. I explained I was busy with work. My 80th birthday is the day after tomorrow, he said. You can't forget that. By the way, I ordered a suit for you. It was delivered to the villa. When you have a moment, go try it on. I agreed, and we chatted a bit more before hanging up. The villa, he mentioned, was the house the Millers had given Anna and me as a wedding gift. It was far from the city, so for convenience, we usually stayed at our place on the Gold Coast. After work, I drove to the villa to pick up the suit. Divorce was one thing, but respect for my elders was another. I went straight to the walk-in closet. The housekeeper had told me she put it there. The closet was in a master bedroom, but I had a separate entrance installed from the hallway for convenience. Just as I reached the door, the master bedroom door swung open, and Ethan Cole appeared right in front of me. He looked shocked and awkward. Mr. Carter. I nodded, not wanting to engage, and continued walking. Before I'd taken 2 steps, I heard Anna's lazy voice from behind me. Who are you talking to? Her voice stopped abruptly. I felt an intense gaze on my back. I turned. She gave me a cool nod. Came back to get the suit grandfather sent. I found the box in the bottom drawer of the closet. When I opened it, my mind went blank. The suit was crumpled inside, and a conspicuous yellow stain marred the deep blue fabric. The paint was still wet. My hand trembled as I carried the jacket out of the room. In the hallway, Anna and Ethan were wrapped in an embrace. I balled up the jacket and threw it at Ethan, my voice tight with fury. You better have an explanation for this. Anna's face darkened as she glanced at the suit on the floor. What are you trying to start now? I laughed coldly. Why don't you ask your boyfriend? No. Anna's voice was low and dangerous. Where are your manners? Is this how your mother taught you to treat a classmate? A classmate? Does he deserve to be called that? I pointed at the jacket. Look at what he did. Anna looked at the suit again, and this time she saw the jarring stain. After a few seconds, she said firmly, Ethan is not that kind of person. I gave her a withering look. So you're saying you did it? Noah, Anna said, her anger rising. It's just a suit. I'll buy you a new one. Even though I had decided to let go of the past, her words still stung. Before, she would at least pretend to care. Now that we were getting a divorce, she didn't even bother with the pretense, openly siding with Ethan. Suddenly, the whole thing felt pointless. I turned to go downstairs. You can explain it to grandfather. As I reached the landing, Anna called out, If you're coming here in the future, give me a heads up. She leaned against the second floor railing, her shirt unbuttoned enough to reveal fresh marks on her skin. You're making Ethan uncomfortable. I turned and walked away. Before I got far, I heard Ethan's aggrieved voice behind me. Mr. Carter, you're just going to leave after falsely accusing me? I stopped, turning back in disbelief. He stood beside Anna, a picture of innocence. You have no proof I did it. Don't you think you owe me an apology? Ethan had a clean-cut look that, when paired with this act, was surprisingly effective. For some reason, I laughed. Just as I was about to speak, Anna cut in. That's enough. She didn't specify who should apologize, but Ethan's face paled. I smirked. I know you're eager, but we're not officially divorced yet. If this gets back to the family estate, it won't be easy for you to explain. Before she could respond, I added, we finalize the papers tomorrow. Don't be late. The next day, Anna was at City Hall on time. The wedding ring was gone from her finger, leaving only a faint indentation. Her expression was neutral, showing neither joy nor sorrow. Let's get this over with. I have a conference call at 10. Looking at her beautiful face, I felt a wave of déjà vu. The day we got our marriage license, she had said the exact same thing, moving through the process like a robot. The clerk had even asked her, ma'am, if today isn't convenient, you can come back another time. Anna's face had darkened. I'm here voluntarily. Today, she was voluntary too. Only this time, we were getting a divorce certificate. I had thought it would be a long, drawn-out battle, but it was surprisingly smooth. The moment I held the certificate, I let out a slow breath. Anna stared at hers for a long time, only snapping out of it when another couple asked her to move. She turned and left quickly. Outside, she was on the phone. It's done. I'll pick you up for lunch after my meeting. As I passed her, she suddenly called my name. I turned back. Yes. She pursed her lips. You should clear out your things when you have a chance. It's not right to leave them there. Just have the housekeeper pack them up and throw them out, I said, turning and getting into the car waiting at the curb. As we pulled away, I saw Anna still standing there, watching my car, lost in thought. That night, the news of our divorce reached our parents. They summoned me home immediately, demanding to know why I was being so impulsive. What on earth were you thinking, my mother railed. It's not like you couldn't make it work. This divorce just benefits some other woman. She was exasperated. You're going to call Anna right now, apologize, and set a date to remarry. What is this, some kind of game? I'm not remarrying her, I said, my gaze firm. We are never, ever getting back together. My mother's voice shot up. You say that so easily. You get to be free, but have you thought about our family's company? Besides, look at your friends. They all have their own lives on the side. Who else makes a scene and actually gets divorced? She went on, every other word being remarry. But no matter what she said, I wouldn't budge. In our circle, most marriages were broken. The intertwined interests were too complex. A divorce was like tearing off a layer of skin. So, most couples maintained a facade while living separate lives. I once thought that would be my fate too. But I realized people are different. You can't unfire an arrow, and I wasn't going back. Mom, I'll talk to him. My sister, Olivia, had appeared behind me. Before my mother could protest, she grabbed my arm and pulled me out the door, pushing me into her car. Go home, and don't answer her calls. I was stunned. She glanced at me. All right, stop looking like you're at a funeral. Don't think I don't know you're all smiles around that little Miss Vance. She leaned against the car door and lit a slim cigarette. Bring her to dinner sometime. She has to get past me first. If this had been the old me, I would have argued with her. But hearing her words, my eyes started to sting. 8 years ago, Olivia had also followed the family's wishes and married her husband. They were respectful to each other, had my nephew, and he never strayed. She was a perfect wife in every way. Everyone called them the model couple. Only I knew they were both unhappy. I once asked her why she stayed if she wasn't happy. You always have to give something up, she'd said. I didn't know what she had given up, but I knew that deep down her heart had only ever belonged to one person. I went to Grandfather Miller's birthday party, dropped off my gift, and left. Chloe had told me the night before that she'd taken on a last-minute case and needed to go to the next state to interview witnesses. Grandfather Miller already knew about the divorce and tried his best to make me stay. He only relented when the butler announced that Anna had arrived. As I walked out the main gate, I ran right into Anna and Ethan. I couldn't believe it. She had chosen today, of all days, to make her stand. Anna saw me and gave a slight nod from a distance, a silent greeting. Ethan was dressed up for the occasion and looked quite polished. He saw me and started to approach, but Anna held him back. Chloe's car pulled up, and I got in without a second glance at them. I didn't realize that departure would mark a month-long separation. The case was far more complex than we'd anticipated, but we won in the end. By the time it was over, 3 months had passed. Spring had arrived, and I was about to turn 30. My parents insisted on throwing me a birthday party. In the past 3 months, they had slowly come to accept my divorce and had started asking questions. With Chloe's recent victory making headlines, they were more eager than ever to meet her, even trying to subtly probe my sister about us. Whenever they did, Olivia would pretend to be deaf, focusing all her attention on her son. With my birthday approaching, they decided to throw a big party, sending out invitations before even telling me. I looked at Chloe with a wry smile. Looks like you'll have to face the firing squad. Chloe collapsed into my arms, laughing. I was beginning to think you were planning to keep me hidden away forever. She had just showered and was wearing only a robe, water still dripping from the ends of her hair onto the fabric. Chloe, I said, my throat suddenly dry. Do you want to stay tonight? We had spent a lot of time together for work, but we had never moved in together. My place was closer to the firm, so she would sometimes come over to shower and rest for a couple of hours, but we had never crossed that line. The one time things got heated, we were just a step away. But I had forced myself to stop, wrapping her in the blanket and holding my breath. She had laughed, a little annoyed. Noah, is there a problem? I had paused, looking at her, my eyes clouded with an unreadable emotion. I just don't think it's the right time. Chloe, you're perfect in every way, except you're too proper, she'd said. You're all business at work, like a stuffy old professor. But when you're like this in private, it makes me feel like you don't like me enough. Are you angry? I asked softly. When she didn't answer, I reached out and easily pulled her onto my lap. She poked my chest. It's just a waste of good body, all for looking. I caught her restless hand. I never said you couldn't have it. Her face flushed, and she tried to squirm away, but I held her fast. The moment she settled, I tilted her chin up and kissed her. The large bedroom was lit only by a single lamp on a nightstand. Her legs tightened around my waist, as if trying to merge our bodies into one. In the dim yellow light, shadows danced on the wall, and the only sound was the low, suppressed sobbing that continued late into the night. We were late for my birthday party. We had both overslept, and when we finally woke up around noon, she had managed to keep me in bed for another 2 hours. Who would have thought that the cool, collected Chloe Vance could be so clingy in private? The moment we arrived, my sister whisked Chloe away. My best friend, Liam, came over looking nostalgic. Remember that moot court final? You two were at each other's throats. Who'd have thought you'd end up holding hands? Liam and I went to the same university. He knew everything about Chloe and me. When I married Anna, knowing it was an unavoidable family decree, he had still asked me, "Are you sure you're not going to wait for Chloe?" I hadn't answered him then. You probably remembered that too, because he added with a grin, "Good thing Anna was blind. Otherwise, Chloe wouldn't have stood a chance." Just as he spoke, Anna walked into the ballroom, with Ethan trailing behind her. Liam scoffed. Anna's really losing it. First, she brings him to her grandfather's birthday party, and now here. That's when I remembered. What happened at her grandfather's party? You don't know. I shook my head. My workload had been so intense, I hadn't had the energy to pay attention to anything else. She brought him right up to Mr. Miller Sr., Liam said, and told him they were getting married. The old man was so furious, he threatened to remove her from the family registry. Anna is the only heir of her generation. For him to say that, you can imagine how angry he was. But then Anna said something that shut everyone up. He looked at me intently. Do you know what it was? What? She said she was 2 months pregnant. I pursed my lips, not surprised at all. From the moment Anna and Ethan reconnected, I had seen this coming. The Anna who had taken over the family business was no longer the girl controlled by her elders. She had her own power, the strength to defy her family. It was only natural that she would try to reclaim what she'd lost as a teenager. Anna and I had been married for over 2 years with no sign of a child. The elders never said anything, but I could feel their eagerness for a grandchild. Anna had used that to her advantage, successfully bringing Ethan into the light. But don't feel too bad, Liam added. Even though she got her way, the Millers still made sure Ethan got a beating. Halfway through the party, I went to the restroom. On my way back, I heard Anna and Ethan arguing in one of the lounges. As I got closer, I saw Ethan's face was livid. "You regret being with me, don't you?" Anna's expression was dismissive. "Don't be ridiculous. I just needed some air." "But you followed Noah the moment he left." "Go outside," Anna said softly. "I don't want the baby to hear us fighting." Ethan, despite his background, had always been proud. He wasn't one to beg. After a brief, tense standoff, he left, his face ashen. I walked past Anna without a glance, but she stopped me. "Have you and Chloe been in touch all these years?" I stopped and looked at her. Her eyes were downcast. I couldn't read her expression. "When did you two get together?" I felt a surge of exasperation. "Anna, we're divorced. This isn't a question you should be asking." People were walking by, some casting curious glances our way. Someone stubbed out a cigarette in a nearby ashtray. Anna watched the fading ember for a moment, then turned and walked away without another word. The next time I heard about Anna and Ethan was on the day of my engagement party with Chloe. After the celebration, we were driving home when it started to pour. Ethan suddenly ran into the road, blocking our car. "Mr. Carter, I need you to leave Anna alone. You're divorced. She's my wife now." I frowned. Those words could easily be misunderstood by my fiancée. "Please don't say things like that again." His hair was a mess, and he looked utterly defeated, but his eyes were fiercely determined. "You must be feeling pretty smug right now. Your ex-wife can't get over you, and you've seamlessly moved on to Ms. Vance." "Ethan," I said sharply, "what are you trying to say?" He gave me a long, hard look. "I haven't been able to reach her for a day. Please, contact her. Tell her that if she comes back, I'll agree to a divorce." With that, he turned and walked back into the downpour. I hesitated, wondering if I should offer him an umbrella. Chloe spoke. "Don't bother. The Miller's security is here. They won't let anything happen to him." I snapped back to reality. Of course, even if the Millers disapproved of Ethan, they would never allow a public scandal. Ethan had made a grave mistake tonight. "Chloe," I said, "you don't seem angry at all about what he said." She smiled, playing with a new ring on my finger. "You're here with me. What is there to be angry about?" I felt a twinge of disappointment. Chloe was too rational, too perceptive. I'd probably never get to see her jealous over me. I was wrong. 2 hours later, I was paying the price for that thought. Her skills were formidable. I was completely outmatched. While Chloe was in the shower, my phone rang. It was Anna. She called dozens of times, hanging up each time without saying a word. I was about to turn my phone off when she called again. I didn't mean to answer, but my finger slipped. I finally lost my patience and yelled into the phone. "Anna, I don't have time for your games." There was a moment of silence. Then her voice came through. "You love her that much?" I frowned. "What are you talking about?" Her voice was laced with something I couldn't identify. "You insisted on that Hudson penthouse because you could see her law firm from there." "Yes," I said. "It wasn't about the penthouse. It was because Anna had never set foot in it. I needed a space untouched by her." Anna let out a low laugh. I was immediately on guard. "What's so funny?" Her voice was tinged with mockery. "So you never really liked me at all? The person you've always loved was her, right?" "I did love you," I admitted. "A long time ago. But I love Chloe now. So please, stop calling me." I wouldn't deny that I'd loved her once. Life is like a game of chess. You can't take back your moves. I accept the imperfect versions of myself from every stage of my life. I hung up and turned to see Chloe leaning against the doorframe, a half smile on her face. I had no idea how long she'd been standing there or how much she'd heard. After a brief silence, I decided to pretend nothing had happened and headed for the bathroom. As I passed her, she grabbed my arm, and the next thing I knew, I was pulled into bed. "Chloe, I haven't showered," I protested. She stared at me, her gaze so intense it made my skin crawl. Then she got up and dragged me in the bathroom. "Chloe, what are you doing?" "Didn't you say you needed a shower?" she said. "I'll help you." My eye twitched. "But you just showered." "I'll help you wash," she clarified. And she did. With the meticulous precision she applied to her work, she didn't miss a single spot. I learned a lot that night about Chloe's stamina and her expertise. It was breathtaking. So much so that I overslept the next day. Liam was on the phone when I finally managed to coax her out of bed. Did you know Anna's getting a divorce? I was confused, but they just got married. Inside scoop, Liam said mysteriously. Rumor is, it's because of you. Hold on, I'll send you a video. The video he sent showed Anna and Ethan talking quietly. Ethan reached for her hand, but she violently shook him off. He stumbled, catching his balance, then grabbed a bottle of liquor from the table and started chugging it. Are you crazy? Anna snatched the bottle from him, her face livid. Ethan smiled. You do still care about me, don't you? Anna's brow furrowed. I'll have the driver take you home. I'm not going. Not unless you come with me. Ethan sat back down on the sofa, his face a grim mask, completely ignoring the other friends in the room. The chatter in the private suite died down. No one knew what to say. After a long, awkward silence, Anna finally spoke, her voice weary. Fina, let's get a divorce. I won't hold that thing from high school against you. If you agree to the divorce, I'll give you a generous sum of money after the baby is born. The video ended there. What was she talking about? I asked Liam. The thing from high school. You remember that photo of them in the storage room? Liam said. Ethan hired someone to take it. Man, can you believe it? He was only 18. That's some serious scheming. No wonder Anna fell for it. Even I might not have seen through that 5 years ago. After hanging up, I sat on the balcony for a long time. The memories were fading, but some feelings linger forever. The truth was late, but at least it wasn't buried. Chloe and I got our marriage license, but didn't have a big wedding. Instead, we left for our honeymoon. Our first stop was a small coastal town. I played photographer for Chloe as she walked on the soft sand, the sea breeze in her hair. When we were tired, we rested under the shade of a tree. While Chloe was on a work call, I saw Anna. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but then she walked right up to me. I wasn't happy to see her. She chatted as if we were old friends who hadn't seen each other in ages. It's beautiful here. You used to say you wanted to come, but I could never find the time. You mentioned that big rock over there. I want to see it. You were right. It's a great spot for photos. And the hotel. Anna, I cut her off. What do you want? She was silent for a moment, then said in a voice only I could hear, I'm divorced. I already knew. Liam kept me updated on her status, sending me voice messages when I didn't reply. I knew the moment it happened. Liam said it was because of Ethan's alcoholic father. After learning Ethan had married into wealth, the man showed up at Anna's gate every day, causing a scene. Ethan, overwhelmed, kept giving him money. Soon, his father developed a gambling addiction and racked up millions in debt. Ethan couldn't pay it. He had to ask Anna for help. Her condition was simple. She would give him the money, but they had to get a divorce first. To escape his deadbeat father, Ethan agreed. But after the divorce, the money stopped. One night, his drunken father beat him severely, breaking one of his legs. Noah, Anna's voice was soft and gentle, a tone I had never heard from her before. I don't know what to do, and I know nothing I say is right, but I still want to say I'm sorry. I kept my lips pressed together, not responding.